Fly, fly, oh to be a fly. Fly, fly, come and be a fly on the wall.
Hello there. Our house is a mess. It's one big burger. Come on in and bring those delicious condiments, mayo, mustard, relish. I'm your neighborhood-friendly black girl, Amber.
And I'm Dancing Ben, where I learned all my shaken booty moves from Amber.
You learn how to move and dance for me.
Yes, ma'am.
Me should be fired. Anyway, welcome to Fly on the Wallin. This is the show where we share our stories of dating and parenting and what happens when you record it all for the world to see. Top of the show, we want to thank our patrons out there. The Country Club, you do it. You do it every month, baby, for $1, $2, hell, $5 a month. And we really do appreciate your support.
Thank you.
If you would like to be a member of the Patreon, please find that link in the episode show notes. Ben, you're dropping some fun stuff on that right now, right?
I do. You're going to listen to my single. I wrote it when Amber was on a very important call, and I meant to distract Wild so she wouldn't interrupt you, but it turned out we just both interrupted you. So that was probably fun for you.
What was the name of the song?
I haven't, right now, it's untitled, but it's, I'm workshopping it, so you can see the workshop, the rough version on the Patreon, but it's like one of the campfire songs, It's got like that nice dashboard confessional, like, early 2000s, emo kind of feel. Fall Out Boy.
I couldn't hear it because I was on my work call. So what should we do in the future? Like if I'm on a work call and you're not picking up like, oh, she's on a work call. Like how do I signal to you like I can't hear my call?
Usually words help pretty well.
I know, but I'm taking the call, so
Yeah.
I can't stop and say, like, sorry, can everyone on the call, can we all just pause? My husband is loudly playing music during the call and not noticing that I'm on a call that I told him I would be on.
You can maybe do something like, excuse me, I need to go take care, and then just mute everybody and be like, Ben, get upstairs. Because I didn't really realize that it was going to be so, interruptive. So I could do a better job at feeling the vibes.
Yeah, you're horrible at vibe filling.
Feeling the vibes.
What's the opposite of vibe filling? That's where you shine.
I'm a vibe killer.
Vibe killer. Yeah.
Vibe
what is that? Have you always
murderer.
been a vibe killer or is it just with me?
Damn.
I would love to hear about your experience in your career field of vibe killing.
When you're homeschooling, like you are the vibe. So there's no killing or vibe making. You just exist.
So you blame your homeschool upbringing for vibe killing?
Yeah, or just being unaware, blithely unaware.
Blithely unaware? Yeah. I feel like as somebody who's very overly socially aware, that's probably why we work a little bit, but it is quite insufferable when you're just so unaware. I've definitely learned, like, you know how you think you need something in a relationship? And you're like, oh, I want him to look like this, and I want my man to do whatever like that. Now, being self-aware is one of my, like, big, a person needs to be this if I'm going to work with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm self-aware of what I'm doing, just not what anybody else is doing.
Yeah, that's rough. That's got to be a tough way to move through life.
It's worked pretty well for me.
I can't be the only person that's giving you this feedback.
I think people, other girlfriends, friends, people in my life have been annoyed.
Postal workers, teachers,
coworkers, dogs,
babies, politicians, lawyers.
I
doctors.
think when I'm in my home, I'm just like, I'm gonna vibe. I'm gonna do what I need to do, and it's weird because when your business is also where you live, it becomes like a place where I'm like, I can't play music anymore. I can't play violin anymore. I can't, and sometimes I forget that. I'm like, oh yeah, this is right now. I'm in Amber's office. And Amber's office is the kitchen and where we watch Miss Rachel. It's the living room. So that I need to take everybody upstairs, and we'll go upstairs. But my instruments are downstairs. So
would it be easier if I left home?
Like for good? Just kidding.
Yeah, for good.
No. No, what we do need is anybody who works from home, you really need like a designated space.
I
And
know, but you lock me out on the patio. When I go work on the patio, you
yeah.
lock it. So it's like
It's
I can't
also
go
like
out there
100
no more.
degrees, so you can't do that.
I don't mind working in the heat.
Oh, yeah?
I think maybe and this is a lot of people. This isn't unique to Ben or anything. I just think this is where a lot of couples and families fell apart during the pandemic. It's like I can't do my work in this space. I work from home. So I actually
Pandemic
recently found
divorces,
this place.
right? Is that term or something
I'm
like
sure
that?
I actually recently found this place that WeWork style. It's not WeWork though, but like you can rent it out. It's
Okay.
like $35 a day or something like that. What do you think? And this is us just having like a real discussion on our family show. Like, do you think it would be worth it for me to like go there like 2 to 3 days out of a week or so?
It might be. It's a little bit
Yeah.
cheaper than getting another bedroom, like
Yeah.
changing our rent, because our rent would probably increase by $1,000
Yeah,
if we got another bedroom. So it'd probably, yeah, you might need to do that.
I can try to do that.
Or both of us, if we got a nanny, like just having the nanny take over and then just us leaving the house.
Yeah, leaving the house. I don't know. I get a lot done in the house, but I can't I don't get a lot done with the family there.
Yeah. I mean, I
'Cause
can't.
I try to take calls.
I can't be great and produce music, and you also be great and take phone calls.
Yes. Speaking of being great, you want me to jump into our first segment?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so we're learning how to cohabitate and co-work together and co-parent together. It's a lot. But for the hashtag influence segment today, we're talking about some new laws that are being introduced to also help other young creators out there. So young kids who are essentially being exploited on social media. Some people could probably try to put us in that category as well. But I have not made her a page yet. I don't think
What is
a
it
social
called?
media page.
What's it called? You there was a term you told me about it.
Sharenting. It's called
Sharenting.
sharenting, where you share every part of your kid's life, your
Damn.
kid's journey, your kid's story, eventually to the point where you're making shit tons of money off of them.
Yeah.
And what we've seen in the past is that parents are sometimes like using that money and never giving any of that money to the kid. Obviously, Wild's 15 months, so like that's kind of irrelevant for us right now. But I'm talking about like these 16-year-old YouTubers that are making millions of dollars and never seeing any of that money. And there was a law introduced in the 1930s about a childhood actor whose parents like spent all his money.
Yeah.
But now lawmakers are starting to catch up to that now with the digital age.
Yes, exactly. And Illinois was the first state, so shout out to our one of our homes, Chicago,
Yeah.
that ended up producing laws that basically states if your kid is doing ads, you need to put some of that money in a trust fund. And it basically allows, it's on the parents to do this, but if the parents don't do this, mismanage their kids' funding, the kid, when they get older, can sue their parents for that money. And
I agree with that.
I think it's a great idea. And
Yeah.
even now, I got the okay from Amber, so I just created a trust for Wild. And a lot of the ads that we do, Wild is in it. Like, Wild should be...
She is.
And so we should be using part of that money and putting it in a trust for Wild. So
Yes.
we have it's a 529 plan, and it's for college education. You should
Right.
have this anyway.
Yes.
But, part of our earnings is going into that. And the cool thing recently, you can roll part of your 529, I think it's up to $35K, into a trust fund. Your 529 education plan, you can roll that into an IRA. So 529 plans you can only use for educational purposes.
Okay.
But now they've created a law where if a kid's like, no, screw college, I don't want to go to school, you can take part of that funding and roll it into
Your
an
retirement,
IRA.
your IRA, yeah.
And sort of put it into mutual funds. So I made the decision. I'm like, we got to do this for Wild, because Wild is honestly like, she makes some of those ads. She makes it.
She does, but it's a little different with Wild because the reality is this, right? Like I'm not trying to say like I'm so different from these vlogging families, but some of these families, the whole vlog is the family. When in reality, I was a Chicago comedian who started making videos. Then you popped up in those videos. We filmed. It was just you and me, and then me doing my own personal stuff, and then sometimes me and Gucci doing stuff for about 2-ish years. And then I had Wild, but Wild is not the reason why the brand started.
You know, and you're right, because we do a lot of comedy where it's just us. Like, I'm writing discussion questions, and you're like, I just want to chill and watch a movie, like, and that has nothing to do with Wild.
She's a member of the family, and she's funny, and we want to obviously, share it what we can. But I'm not going to go down the route. I don't want to go down the route of like pranks with Wild, get ready with Wild. Like, I can see how a lot of stuff that I do is starting to blur that line, and I kind of want to pull back on some of that stuff, but I don't want it to be like, let's let Wild have a segment, It's like, when she does something funny, I post it, but like, I don't know.
You don't want to pretend that she's invisible. Remember that video you showed me where everybody in the family pretended this young woman was invisible? And you're like, let's do this to our child. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. I still
think that was kind of funny. But yes, you're right. But no, I'm just saying, like, I think what we are trying to do is make the brand very like, here's all of the things that Amber does, and then here are the different like pillars of it. So it's like family podcaster, plant mama, dog mama, baby mama, like
wild mama.
That's what I meant by the baby mama part. So like, I don't know. But there might be a day, like, okay, so let's say, for example, we keep things going the way that they're going. Do you feel comfortable with Wild having her own page and her own little, like, hey, cookies with me on Fridays or whatever?
I don't know.
Like, I don't like
age.
that.
I don't like that at all.
Me either.
Especially for young kids. I mean,
or like toy unboxings. It's like hot money.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's like big money. Like a kid buys a toy.
Like a 10-year-old, like when she's 10 years old and she wants to get a Nintendo Switch, like the new Nintendo Switch at this point, because I've trained her to play video games, because that's going to be part of our family time. And so she gets excited. Yeah, what do you... I don't know, man.
I don't want to do that.
Well, okay, if
she
she's getting
wants
paid,
to do it, I'll help her edit it, but I don't want to do it. I'm not starting that.
If she gets paid, though, that money is going... A good portion of that money, I have to look up the percentages, because California will probably pass a law, which is our state of residence now. And that percentage, we're going to play this right, and that is going to go into a trust for her. If she
it has to, because I'm not, there's also been a lot of stuff coming out with recently, like with the Michael Orr situation, where the Tuohy family didn't actually adopt him. It was just a conservatorship the whole time, and they've been taking a lot of his earnings. Like that stuff is so foul and so grimy, and so, the movie doesn't help because it gave the white savior complex as well.
Can you explain the movie and the... where that movie centers in sort of the...
You're doing it. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, just go for it. Yeah, go for it.
No, I'm just saying, this whole Michael Orr story, he was essentially like a secondary character in his film, which was kind of, a rags to riches, like The Blind Side, starring Sandra Bullock. She won an Academy Award for it. She did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yes,
Academy Award for... That's like
for being Leanne Tuohy.
That's like racism. It's a form of racism, right? I feel like Sandra Bullock played a racist.
I wouldn't.
She played a race.
Yeah, indirectly. Yeah, or I don't know.
If you adopt a black kid to get for money,
yes,
and then use that as like race baiting, that makes you like a neo-racist.
I would agree. Like third wave racism.
A liberal racist.
Second wave racism.
I
think. I was like, episode title, we already have so many, like, zero to racism. It definitely is a form of racism, but I'm just saying, like, people profiting off of their kids isn't new. Like, look at the freaking Kardashian dynasty at this point. Mm-hmm. That's not new. It's just, at what point does the child have autonomy? The child can say, because you were reading this one case in here where this YouTuber wanted to stop doing it, and her dad was like,
I'll put that
no.
in the NPR covered. NPR is great. They give the facts of the situation, but one of the things they uncovered interviewing one of these younger YouTube stars is that the YouTube star, the child, was the center of the page. And she was making so much money that her mom and dad quit, but her dad at one point says to her, like, I'm your father, but I'm also your boss. And when the child said, I no longer want to do YouTube, the father said, well, then we're going to have to sell this house we bought, and me and your mom are going to have to go back to work. So it becomes this manipulation game.
Of course, yeah.
Excuse me.
Which is also hard. I mean, I would never say anything like that to Wild, or I hope I never say anything that crazy to Wild. But It is hard because when you are a kid, sometimes you're like, I want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want to do it. I don't want to do it. Like, I remember being in piano lessons when I was in middle school, and I was like, oh, Mom, I hate this. Like, this is so dumb. And she was like, you sure? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do it. I want to go be a cheerleader with my friends. And now I'm all the time like, why did you take me out of piano lessons?
Yeah.
I could have been so talented. I could have been all these things. She was like, because you were pushing me that you didn't want to do it. So it's hard sometimes when your teenage child is like, I know I'm really skilled at this thing, but I don't want to do it anymore. So, like, what is that balance, you know? I guess you just got to know your kid.
Yeah, you have to know your kid and also keep on checking in with your kid. So, for example, you say you quit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you quit at that time, and then a month later be like, hey, let's go to the Rocket Man concert or something like that. Let's see Elton John knock on the piano, right? And then afterwards say, hey, do you want to play piano like Elton John? Or let's go to Alicia Keys' concert. Oh, you want to play piano like... Just check in over and over instead of forcing them, or sort of create the environment where they're going to want to do that. Because I remember every Sunday I was going to church and watching Jackie Pastor. She's married now, but she was destroying it on the violin. Like, playing these amazing, amazing riffs. And I was like, I want to do that. But I saw it every single Sunday. So when I told my mom I wanted to be a violin player, she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I thought you were going to be a drummer. Like, you're a wild man. You bang your head on the wall, bang some things on the ground. She was so shocked I wanted to play violin. But it was the environment that I was in that pushed me towards that. And I think a lot of people people say, how much should your children have a say in their life? How much you should. And I think children should have all the say in their life, but you just have to manipulate the environment so that what they're saying is what you want.
I like that a lot. This makes me really think I need to stay out of the house so you can play your songs. And I can take my meetings.
No. We'll find a balance. It's all about balance, yeah.
Do you want me to leave the home so you can play violin for our daughter? Because I do love that you play musical instruments around her. Like, that's pretty fucking awesome.
I'm about to
These
order
are my
you...
problem. My problem is that my husband plays guitar for his daughter too loudly in my home. Like, that's a pretty good problem to have.
I think last week's episode I bought a gift as like a prank for you, but I actually have a really good idea for a gift for you that I think it's going to be for you. And you think? When I'm done here, I'm gonna go and we're gonna go pick up a keyboard. We're gonna buy a piano and we're gonna get you some piano lessons. And I think and then you can vlog it, and it would just be your thing.
I don't need to vlog it.
Well, no, then we can make it a tax write-off for the.
See,
I love you, babe. I honestly though, I would love to do that for you.
I think that would be really fun. I would love a keyboard. Then we could really be like a one-man band, and we don't have to record it. We could just do it at the house and be.
We could, and your finger. Show the people your fingers.
No, I'm getting them done.
No, show them.
I'm getting them done tomorrow.
But you have such nice fingers. They're so muscular.
These sausages.
Oh man, I could see them running up and down the keyboards in a very sausagey kind of festival kind of way.
A festival? Are you just hungry?
Yeah, I'm a little.
I can see them looking like street tacos.
Just a sausage.
And the elotes.
Yeah. No, you have nice fingers.
Thank
They're
you.
very, and you got tattoos on them.
Yeah,
so
I got good piano playing hands.
Yeah,
I got to get back in the game.
You could easily do it, and you're so disciplined. I think we do a piano lesson. The Silver Lake Conservatory. Shout out to them. They're awesome. But they do adult lessons once a month, dude. You're doing your singing lessons, and I think we need a keyboard anyway in the house.
Yeah, we do need a keyboard. We are a musical family.
Literally, Amber's about to go have drinks with a friend after this episode. But
I'm always drink, dinner, cocktailing with a friend, huh?
Yeah, but but it's good because you're so sociable and you can't just hang out with me all the time because I might say some wild shit.
Yeah. Every day we're like, now, man, you gonna be an asset or a liability today? Which one? Some days
mostly assets, but the expectation is for me to be 100% asset. So if I'm 5% liability, it becomes 100% liability.
Right.
It's sort of a catch-22. Anyway, there's a music store. I'm gonna go get you a keyboard.
This is a good gift.
This is a real gift for you. Where are we gonna put it in our crowded home? I don't know.
We'll get there.
Well, I have some ideas. I'm actually gonna rearrange some furniture.
You were telling me about that.
Yeah,
that's why we really are at home. Okay, You're gonna rearrange the house. Can I talk about something else that's been happening this week?
Yeah, is this we're still in the influencer section?
No, we're transitioning now to imperfect parents. So today we're talking, obviously we kicked off the show talking about, child influencers and things like that and how we're going to try to protect our baby. And if, when Wild eventually says like, get me off of this camera.
Or make her
like,
money too. Make her money, but put it in her account.
Or teach her how to be smart with it or something. Yeah. Because she's going to be.
She does have
she
basically has a health, a education trust now.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be honorable for her.
That's great. I don't know what I was trying to say. I was
transitioning
stuck between great
imperfect-
and right. But yes,
imperfect
transitioning
parent.
to imperfect parenting. So we're talking less about Wild this week and more about our own parents because I've just been having some, I'll say I had to have a difficult conversation with my mother this week. I won't go into too much detail, but I was really inspired by a friend of mine who just really convinced me we are meant to push our parents. She was just really gassing me up about because you know me, Ben, I feel like I'm so brave and I'm so confident and I'm so disciplined, but sometimes it's just hard to have certain conversations with your parents.
Can you just tell the people the relationship between you and your mom?
Yes. Okay.
Can you just say, because we've heard it before, people can see it on TikTok, but
yes.
I don't think you've ever explained the depth of the relationship you have with your mom.
Yeah, I mean, I am very close with my mother. We talk every single day. We enjoy each other. We laugh the same. We laugh about the same things.
What does it mean talk every single day? What does that look like?
How's that unclear?
I'm saying you're FaceTiming.
FaceTiming. I FaceTime her. I check in on her.
And then you text her throughout the day?
I'll text her. Yeah, she understands gifts and jokes and social media memes and stuff like that. So
I don't
she's
think you understand this is a rarity. This is such a rarity.
I can send her voice. It's not that. I know. I don't. Can I say something that might sound a little weird?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of either black girls or I would say black girls. Let me speak for black girls. We really, unless there's been some friction there, we are that close to our moms. Like most of my friends also have this kind of relationship with their mothers.
Text every day, voice memos.
Yeah, maybe it might be
cultural.
It might be a cultural thing.
All
we talk
your
to our
line
moms,
sisters.
They talk to their moms every day. Yeah, or at least every other day. For sure. My friend, when I was talking about dinner the other night, she's like, "Yeah, I talked to my mom." I mean, she talked to her mom and her dad every single day.
Maybe I just hate my parents. I guess
I don't think you hate them.
I feel a little guilty. I feel like, damn.
I don't know.
It's like a cultural
I don't want to
thing.
call it a white thing, but I just I'm trying to think about other white friends of mine. No, they're close. Maybe you,
close.
Or maybe it's just you're also a guy, so you're not calling people a lot. But I don't know. Culturally speaking, I feel like it's not that foreign for black people to not always check in with their parents. Now, some of it is a little bit fear-based, is what I was kind of trying to get to. So, for example, at one point, my dad was in the hospital. He was having some stress-related issues. And so he gets admitted to the hospital. Everything's fine. He's sent home after 3 or 4 days or whatever. And my mom doesn't tell us for 2 or 3 months or something like that. So it's when we start getting to a point where we're why aren't we having these difficult conversations with each other? What do you mean? Why? Because she's well, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to stress out, da-da-da-da-da. But then that for me feels I know, but I thought we were besties. So why didn't you just say, if we're blurring these lines of parenting and friendship, I would expect my close friend to tell me if their partner was admitted to the hospital.
That just makes me think we have a dear friend of ours, Erin, who was very gracious to invite us over to her parents' house. And she was telling me this story where she had this dog growing up that bit her brother.
Yes.
And they literally thought that, and they were, 10 years old, 8 years old, and they thought this dog was sent to live in a farm upstate. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, this man, the father, had this dog killed. And so the question is, when do you do you have these conversations that might blur the line between friend and parent? When do you tell your kids, no, I had to kill that dog?
Yeah.
Or when do you, no, your father almost died?
Up. Yeah. Well, no. Well, not in my case. My dad just, probably needed some indigestion and was sent home.
Oh,
but
wait.
You said your dad almost died. Not my dad. No, I mean, he was struggling, but it wasn't. I think she would have told us if it was that fatal. But it'll just be like these hard questions or these hard, difficult conversations that it's like, at what point am I like, no, Amber, you're a bad bitch. Like, you are so brave and you're so vulnerable with other people. But sometimes when it comes to having a difficult conversation with a parent, I'm like tossing and turning at night. I'm like, okay, I can finally talk to my mom about this. I got to go slowly. I got to write down what I'm going to say, which I don't get that, you know? Well, I guess I'm asking myself, or I'm asking you rather, like, does that ever go away? Because you're not like that with your folks. You're very like, I can tell my mom whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things I just don't tell my parents because I don't think it's relevant for our relationship.
Gotcha.
Because I don't have that kind of friendship. Like with my father, we're very close, and we talk about hiking and God and religion and things about that nature, but my personal life, I don't really talk about, where your mom is. I'm sure my parents would like to talk about it, but I don't feel that need to talk about it, where for the most part, I'm not looking for counsel from my parents, but you actually look for counsel from your mom. Like she is.
Yeah, she's got some good ideas about
stuff. If she gives you advice on something where I think my parents are so distant from what we do that I'm not going to really look for advice from them.
Yeah. It's like, when did they stop being that authority, like, person you look to as the keeper of knowledge energy?
But that's actually not true, because my mom, whenever she always gives me great baby parenting advice. She came to us with Paris, and she came
with us to Paris, yeah.
Yeah, and she watched and had all these hacks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that worked,
Of course, but sometimes it's just hard to, I don't know, like, fully let your parents know who you are and how wretched you are. And so I think about that now more than ever with Wild Lynn. Like, is there going to be a day where she's like, I want Wild to always have hard conversations with me.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how scary. Like, you know what I mean?
I want to say that, but I also don't know what the hard conversations are going to look like 20, 30 years from now,
I don't ever want to find out she was in the hospital and I just didn't know and stuff like that.
Yeah, safety things for sure.
Yeah, safety, or just like identity things, or just general fear.
Why did your mom not tell you about your father being in the hospital?
Because she thinks I'm going to
fly down or
anxiety myself, and in reality I'm like, it gives me more anxiety that you trying to protect me from this thing.
Why? I mean, that's sort of sweet.
It's okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, just why do you think? I feel like you would have more anxiety learning about it in the moment, because you're like, in the hospital, I'm thinking he's about to die. Afterwards,
no, it wasn't that real.
Right, but you don't know that. Maybe she would have told you, and she could have said, no, it's not that real. And you would have been thinking, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah. So you're going to lie to me too, is what you're saying.
I will never lie to you, but I will withhold information from you for sure until the appropriate time.
I think it's nice to FaceTime me from the hospital and be like, here's your dad. He's awake. Everything's fine. He just had some stress-related injuries.
If you go in the hospital
on Friday.
Stress, you cannot go to the hospital for stress, because you and your daddy are very similar.
We are we're like the same motherfucker.
No.
How would you feel if I didn't tell you that I was having some difficulty?
We're romantic partners and life partners, and we're like eagles. I think they mate for life, and so we're building a nest together. We have a nice little egg that's hatched. We have a hatchling. So that's a little bit different.
Right.
But so I would be very angry at you and bitter.
Got you.
And hurt. But that's different. Like if you went to the hospital and Wild has your level of anxiety, which I don't think she will, because I'm so chill. Like, I don't give a fuck about
That's
anything.
why she's going to.
Yeah, she might. I would maybe withhold information
from Wild
until the time passed, unless.
But isn't there like an age where it's like, okay, you are now 30. You get to know what's what.
Yeah, but we're always little babies in our parents' eyes,
Yeah, I guess
we're never 30. We're never 28. We're always like.
But there's going to be a day where I'm like, Wild is grown. We can say this to her.
You think you're going to think she's grown someday? Like, you're grown.
I do.
You're gonna tell her
she's gonna
grown.
grow up.
She's never. I feel like you're such a
I love her.
baby lover.
She's my baby,
you're always
but
gonna be like,
she's
"You're my
gonna
baby."
be a little adult one day,
Yeah.
like a baby one.
Right.
Oh, see, I'm already doing it. Anyway, what do y'all think? If I would love to hear, especially YouTube, especially about the dynamic with your parent, who maybe it's one parent, maybe it's both, that you're really close with, but it's like we're this close, but we're not close enough to where like we can talk about these things. I just want to. I know there's somebody else out there that feels the same way I do.
Yeah, and those things usually are like death, money, and sex. I feel like
or like
identity.
Talking about will and testament. My mom's always like, I want to talk to you about some stuff that we're updating in our will, which can be very scary. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm glad y'all are doing this. She's like, I know. I'm not saying anything's going wrong. I just want to update. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like, what's all this prep work? Most people should have will and testaments. Like,
we are going to die. You know.
Yeah. I mean,
it's okay.
I don't know, but she's always like speaking slowly about those things, and I'm like, Mom, we can have a difficult conversation. I talk to you every day.
You do a good impression of your mother.
Now, Amber, you're not going to be upset about this. We're going to get through this. I just want to know if you would like to own this home, or should I give it to your brother? Now, I know that you live in Los Angeles. She'll call it Los Angeles.
She does that.
You know that's her. I'm like, why are we?
That was great,
why
Amber.
are you speaking like this to me? Yeah, these are good questions to ask. Anyway.
Okay, Dr. Thomas.
I know. Great. I love you, Mommy, so much. We are besties, and I'm probably going to call you after the show before our cocktail. You want to jump into some relationship advice?
Yeah, let's see if I can help some people out.
I have a friendship question. You ready for that?
Oh yeah, it's a form of relationship.
No, sorry. I that was for next week. I have a relationship question. I'm so sorry. Hey, Amber and Ben. I wanted advice on my relationship, so here it goes. I'm currently dating someone. Been dating 5 months now. We're doing great. I love our dynamic, and I love that he brings out the best in me. On paper, he's perfect, but there is one issue. His mom.
Oh.
She pretends to be this nice lady, and maybe she is, but I have been experiencing some odd behavior from her. For example, my sister is a photographer, and I recommended my photographer sister to my man's mom for a photo shoot. My sister went over to her house, did the shoot, and my sister came back home and told me everything the mom said. The mom was basically bragging about how she's the downfall of all her son's relationships. And she told my sister not to tell me this. Not only that, she told me that when my man comes back from boot camp, I guess her man's out on boot camp, that the mother said that she will be taking up most of her son's time, and that her son, isn't allowed to ride in anyone else's car but her own. Even though me and my man are both in our mid-20s. I love my man, but I feel like when he comes back, I'm not going to have any control over my relationship. What do I do?
I think the mother-in-law suffers from sort of mental disability or some sort of
codependence.
No, I actually think this might actually be some sort of mental health type of thing, because that is giving like highly inappropriate behavior and delusions of like, oh, my
mom must be like that sometimes.
My son, maybe there's some sort of mental delusion,
Ooh.
Wow.
Speaking of delusion.
Amber was like, "You're drinking a third Diet Coke today?" I was like, "Yeah, I didn't drink coffee, but look who is the burpee." The little burper.
I am a burper.
I'm
so grateful that my mother-in-law is not like this, because we have so many like mother-in-law or mom-to-be stories. I do want to know.
Wait, I want to go to the car riding. The car riding.
The car riders. Let's talk about car riders.
No, it's giving the sense that this is like you might have some sort of mental health issue or mental disability or something, to think that your son can only ride in
she's the only woman
car.
Allowed in his car.
Yeah, that's weird.
And she brags about how
she's the downfall. Yeah,
she's the downfall. That's insane.
Yeah, honestly,
they've only been dating 5 months.
You've only been dating for 5 months. It sounds like my advice for you is break all interaction with this person. Don't recommend any more photographers for for your boyfriend's mother because
she knew she was gonna run back and tell it too. That's
yeah,
the thing about it.
Yeah,
she was
no,
like,
it's giving
don't
manipulation.
tell your sister, but
yeah, it's giving like narcissism, some sort of mental health, neurodivergent behavior. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible.
Of course.
Because I don't want to say like this bitch is just crazy, but
but my gut is telling me to just say
yeah,
you
but
know what?
That's not. I don't think that's fair, and I'm trying to learn and be appropriate with my language because there are people who have these tendencies, and if it is part of a trend of people who have these, like you shouldn't be worried about it. Just don't fuck with her. What are your thoughts?
So she should break up. I think you said
no, don't break up. Just like don't fuck with the mother-in-law.
You can't not, Ben. Like if a mother-in-law is that controlling, I think I would have a serious talk with my boyfriend and say like I cannot continue forward in this relationship if your mom's gonna be mad that I'm just riding around in your car. Like these are like base level things. Like we haven't even moved in together. We haven't had kids together.
Just weird.
Like this is just riding around in your car.
And the son might be like, yo, my mom is this or that. Like,
and then I would be out 5 months. You can throw 5 months away. No shade. Sorry, but I could not be with you if your mother was like that 5 months in.
Yeah, but
you didn't even have a car. It was my car.
Yeah.
So imagine Judy being like, well, if you drive your car, you can't ride with my son in it. Girl.
Yeah, no, my mom.
Hello and good night. This is so funny. I have another similar. This isn't the same, but it's like, it's interesting because it might be like, is this person a part of the last letter? I don't know. This question says, Dear Amber and Ben, how can you tell the difference between healthy compromise or controlling behavior? So, I'm recovering codependent with a narcissistic mother. I thought I met someone who was not narcissistic, but there are a lot of little things piling up. 2 months in, and I'm beyond triggered. I'm a single mom of 3. So when I'm getting to know someone and I see them critiquing my kids, like telling me they need to switch to a sippy cup, that's a red flag for me. So obviously I'm hyper vigilant to criticism. So I'm curious, in your relationship, what do you consider constructive compromise and what might you consider to be toxic? And she goes on to talk about how they might be moving in together soon, and he's already saying things as they go to house showings about like, well, are you going to be able to keep this house clean? And then she says here like, well, we could hire someone to help with chores. And he was like, well, we're going to see about that. So that's essentially what's going on here. And so I guess her question to us is, when is something healthy and when is one of us being just controlling?
Well, compromise is an agreement between two parties. So a question like, are you going to keep this house clean?
Right.
Is not a compromising kinds of question. A better question for that would be, how are we going to keep this house clean? It's a bigger home. We haven't had this big a home. And then we discuss and then we write down chores, and that's a compromise. Or we say, hey, we'll have someone come once a month, or maybe we'll have someone come only when visitors come into town or family comes into town, whatever. That's a compromise. But a question such as, leading with you, very standard I statements. That's a compromise. That's not a compromise.
What happens when we talk about an issue and then we agree to disagree and somebody just has to make a decision? Like, is that leaning into controlling behavior? I'm not saying, I'm trying to think about like something between you and I. But like, like the waking up out of the sleep thing, right? Like that's the thing I'm committing to not doing anymore.
Yeah. So Amber, woke me up out of sleep.
Yes. When I'm upset, I can't even sleep. I have to wake Ben up and talk to him about this thing right now. And Ben has just been telling me like, this cannot keep happening. Like when I need sleep, like this is a huge trigger for me when you wake me up. So I'm making a commitment.
I actually
to
can't
not
have a
doing
real conversation, whatever. Yeah.
I'm going to make a commitment to not doing it. But sometimes I'm just like, I am so emotionally I'm so emotionally impacted by this thing that he did that I can't not wake him up. So I'm making a commitment to doing it, but I don't really think we're compromising with it, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, I'm setting a boundary.
Yeah, you're setting a boundary.
That's not a compromise. A compromise.
Well, you're not even setting a boundary. A boundary is when you like set something up where I'm not even, like I can't even do that to you. Like, you kind of can't set a boundary with
Yeah,
it.
if you wake me up to have a serious conversation, I'm not going to have the conversation with you.
Oh, that's the boundary.
That's the boundary. If you wake me up because you're annoyed that I didn't do this or that thing, or yeah, I'm not gonna be able to have a serious conversation with you. I'm gonna walk out of the room, and we're gonna go to sleep or wake up tomorrow. So your question is like, when something needs to be done, their compromise needs to happen. I mean, this is what makes compromising so difficult, is that it takes time, and if you don't have time, you have to create time. So there are little things where one person just has to step back and let the other person get their way, or do it the way that they want. But for the most part, people have time to compromise. Like, you
Yes,
don't have
I would
to,
agree.
Yeah, like it could be as
I
simple
guess
as
we are
buying a bed.
compromising. I'm
know,
like,
but-
I won't do this anymore.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And we'll defer to the next day. But let's talk about house buying. You find a house and it's really nice, but there are certain things about the house that you don't like. And so but there's a pressure to get it or whatever because of the housing market or that. Or you can just say, hey, we're not moving forward with this until we both agree. And you might lose out on this deal or whatever, but it's way better to compromise, because if one person makes a large purchase, anything from buying a house or even buying a new bed, and both people don't agree with that kind of bed, maybe it's, a foam bed compared to a mattress bed, or maybe it's a water bed. I don't think water beds are legal anymore, but if one person wants it and you're not able to agree on it, just don't buy it. You don't have to buy the bed. You can sleep on the ground, because you'd rather sleep on the ground for a couple more weeks instead of buying a bed that one of you are not satisfied on, because you're just going to remember that dissatisfaction.
I think this is also challenging for this person, because this person is a single mom of 3.
Yeah.
And they're dating someone new.
Mm-hmm.
And this new person is coming in, I think the biggest trigger right here, and giving child rearing advice, when I'm going to assume this person might not have kids, or this person doesn't know your kids. So it's hard, I guess, probably, when someone new is in the dynamic and they're saying, like, why is your kid still drinking out of a sippy cup? Like, isn't it time for a big boy cup or whatever it is? And you're like, how can we compromise on this when you're not these kids' dad?
Well, but you can't compromise with a question like that. That's what I'm going back to, is that this person doesn't actually look for is looking for compromise. It sounds like in these two situations, they're looking for control.
Yeah. But let's say I'm this single mother of 3. And you're noticing that my child is still using a pacifier, and they're like 6 or 7. So, and maybe it's starting to affect like literally the shape of their teeth or whatever. You're dating me, and I got 3 kids, and this is my issue. So how, as my new partner, would you address this situation?
I mean, you approach it, I would just say that, like, hey, I noticed that, D or whatever is still using a pacifier. I know kids who use pacifier for this long, it can mess up their teeth. How can I help you to wean them off? Because honestly, let's be real, if your kid is using a pacifier that late in the game, it's because the mother needs help with the fussiness. Like, Wild has been super fussy with her teething, and it would be so nice just to give her a pacifier. Like, when we were flying on the plane, remember that? And it would have been so great to just, you know what? We had an emergency pacifier recently inside our bag when we were flying. Just, God forbid, whatever. And I wanted to give it to her, and Amber's like, no. And so we just passed the baby back and forth, And I was like, okay, we'll compromise by passing back and forth. But for me, it's about reaching out and asking for support instead of reaching out and looking for control. Like, this is my way. My way's the best. I don't know. I know you don't know.
I think you do know. I think you answered it brilliantly.
I think
you've always been a big compromiser. You're a master compromiser. You probably compromise for me like way more than I give you credit for. I'm trying to give you credit for it now.
Shout out to my friend Ramona, who taught me about consensus theory decision making in like intentional community. Basically, a community, if you're living with roommates, you come around and say, okay, how are we going to do chores? And until everyone raises their hand, right? It was thumb up or thumb down, or thumb to the side, which means I don't agree with this, but I can move forward with it. And so thumb down. So if you have a group of 5 roommates and a decision needs to be made about chores and how they're going to be designated, you go around the room and you people put up their thumbs, but if one person has their thumb down in consensus decision making, you go back to the drawing table and recreate a plan that everyone feels comfortable with. Either thumb up or thumb to the side. It takes a long fucking time, but honestly...
Yeah, what if somebody's just being a dick?
Well, then eventually you, like, if you want to move on, I mean, you just don't leave. So if someone keeps on putting their thumb down, maybe...
Like, why don't you drive the boat on what you want?
Yeah, like, what do you want?
Because you can't not do any chores, yeah.
And the person might say, I'm not going to do any chores. And they're like, okay, if you don't do any chores, we're going to need you to pay a little bit more rent or something. Like, someone will throw out an idea. Right? Like, I can't do so many chores maybe because I have an ability issue or whatever. And so you just keep going around. It takes a long time, but when everybody can leave a space... when everybody can leave a space, a meeting, feeling that, oh, I had a part in this, it's really good. It's not democratic at all. It's called consensus. Like, everyone reaches a shared consensus. I
feel like we do versions of that every day in our...
Yeah, like we're
not uniquely you and me, but... Just if you're doing romantic friendships, if you're
I'll many times Amber will say, hey, I'm not crazy about it, but I'll do it.
Yeah, you know me, I'll be like, I don't hate it.
So no, even today I was making you French toast and you're like, I'm not crazy I'm trying to stick away from carbs, and you weren't crazy, so your thumb was to the side.
It was,
and my thumb was up.
How did I do with that French toast?
You smashed that French toast. You smashed it.
That toast was so good.
Yeah, you killed it, and you're like, "This is really good."
And, it was. I knew it would be.
And your cousin is
protein.
coming into town. You're like, and a friend is coming into town, and so you're like, you're gonna make French toast for them. And I said, "Yeah, you bet, baby."
Yeah.
So I know, but that was a very small example of thumb up, thumb to the side, thumb down. Consensus, man, it's great.
Consensus is great. So maybe in this relationship, I mean, I know it's weird, but even if he's just talking to you and suggesting things, maybe you could just like thumbs up, side, or down. Yeah. I really like that idea. I know it's so simple. It's like a toddler class, but it feels like my voice is being heard if it's like thumb to the side. Like,
I think the use of it is very mature. The use of this kind of human interaction. I think the other thing this person needs to address is how your boyfriend is talking to you, and just make sure that you create some expectations about language, saying, hey, when you bring these things up, it feels accusatory. Instead of accusing me, like, can you please like look to help me? How can I support you in this endeavor, right?
I promise.
How can I support you? Instead of you saying, how can I keep this house clean? Be like, how can I support you in keeping this house clean? It's a very different kind of language.
I was talking to Dr. Raquel Martin, PhD. If you don't follow, just please go find yourself, make your way towards her.
I think she just likes to be called Raquel, right?
I know, Dr. Raquel. I'm putting doctor in front of her name. That's it. That's all. So Dr. Raquel was talking about how you can just like framing something differently. Like, for example, when I want you to clean something up, instead of coming in the room and be like, clean up this mess, blah, 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 blah. She's like, you can get so much farther when you're like, Ben, you deserve to thrive in a clean space.
I do.
You deserve to do your reading in a clean space.
Fair.
You deserve that. And in order for us to achieve that, you deserve to clean up your shit. You deserve that.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
You deserve this.
You deserve cleanliness.
Yes. Everybody deserves cleanliness. Everybody deserves a free space to just think and exist. You deserve that. So with that being said, let's insert the action here.
Love it.
Wouldn't you like that better?
Yeah, I think it's...
Than me waking you up and making you fold them goddamn clothes?
Yeah, it's more centering the space.
Right.
Instead of like centering the lack of the person who's in the space.
Now, what do I deserve to do? You know what you told me the other day? You actually didn't tell it to me. You were talking to my sister and her boyfriend about it, but it was really, I had to be silent as you said it, which is what I needed.
Oh, yeah.
I needed to be silent while you said it.
What was the question? You went around the table.
I was like,
this.
what's we asked each other about our partner, like what's one thing they can improve on.
No, you sort of use this as a nice icebreaker.
Yeah, but everybody had to do it.
Yeah.
And when your person responded, like, so do you remember what you said?
I don't remember, but you created some rules about it. You said
I was like, I can't talk.
Yeah.
While, like, you know, whoever the partner is, you cannot talk because you just have a tendency to like interrupt them if they're speaking. So like, Ben was asked, what is something I need to improve on? And I had to sit there silently, which I did, right? And you said that I have a bad habit of just like bringing up stuff from the past, almost as like receipts when you do things in the present.
Yeah.
And that hurts your feelings.
Yeah. 1 Corinthians 13, I think I quoted, love keeps no record of wrong.
Well, I ain't Corinthia, and this ain't Corinthians, okay? But I was listening to you when you said it, and so I was trying to think about, like right now, what could you say to me in the you deserve framing for me to not do that to you?
You deserve to live in the present, Amber.
Okay, I think I just soaked this seat. Okay, the next time I'm bringing up all your transgressions, which I'll try not to do, you got to say that to me.
I think now I remember, because you bring up transgressions that we compromised on and we agreed not to bring up.
No. But the ones that we agreed not to bring up, I don't bring those up. But
for the most part, but there are
sometimes
you'll bring up something and I'll be like, dude, we agreed not to reflect on this. We're making the transition, and your response to that is like, but you just did the same shit. So I'm bringing that up.
It's relevant.
It's relevant now. I'm like, no. I might have done the same shit, but it was a little different because, you can't do the same shit over and over. Yeah, so I will say that you deserve to live in the present, Amber, with me.
I love that.
That's good. Yeah, man. Wow.
That's powerful. Isn't it?
Wow. That is.
Oh
really
no,
good.
you just unlocked a new level, huh?
I'm just feeling myself a little bit. This Diet Coke's got me hot.
This Diet Coke. All right, before we get out of here, Ben, we both watched Talk Black on HBO Max. I know that we're not supposed to be talking about streaming and things like that, but this was directed by a black girl who we met at the Bronzlands.
Black woman.
Well, it's like, I don't mean it to be demeaning. It's like black girls rock.
Oh yeah,
black girl energy,
magic.
black girl magic. Yeah. It's like that. Energy.
Not me.
Yeah,
your language.
White man.
Language police.
What can y'all have, man? What can the white man have? White man whines.
White man
whining. White man withering. That's not my best work. I'm so sorry. White man wonder. How about that?
White man wonder.
Black girl magic and white man wonder.
White man nation.
No. To get worse. Anyway, a black woman directed this film. It's called Talk Black, and it's essentially like, should I spoil it?
Yeah.
I told them to watch it.
Yeah. It's 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, and it's this like black woman who works as a design engineer, and essentially there's like a blacker version of her. She has to be her like corporate self all day, but there's like this like Nubian princess inside her that's always like, you gonna let the man talk to you like that?
Yeah,
like,
there's three.
Yeah.
I think there's like three of them. So it's the hip hop sort of like street wearing, like big hoop earrings, and then there's the like more like Hotepi, but not Hotepi might be the wrong term. You said Nubian. And sort of like, you're a black queen.
Yeah, black
and the other
African
one's like,
Baps
I'm going to fuck
energy.
up this guy who just disrespected me.
Yes.
And then there's the primary character is like this nerdy black woman who's a little bit more shyer and hang back. And sort of they take control at certain points. And it's just a very thoughtful concept.
And it shows that internal struggle that we black people and black women face in the workplace, and it just does so, like, it just fully personifies it and gives validation to things that we have experienced, and I really, really enjoyed it. You know how you just realize you can't be impacted? You're like, there's no way I can be this impacted in a short film. You're like, yes, I am.
It's so
good.
And
it made us excited to keep writing our script.
It did. I was thinking, Amber, what type of different Black girls live inside you? And I was thinking about that. So I was like, oh, we got the theater Black girl who's just singing
that
around.
One's just
that's
regular
just already. And then, but then we have, I think we do have like, we got like a Black Blake Lively from a Simple Favor we talked about last week. Sometimes you can pull that out.
Like a calculating, very manipulative.
But no, or business. Like you're a fixer.
But villain energy too.
You're a little, you can be a little villainous in a good way towards maybe people who need to be vilified.
My friend the other day was like, I'd rather be a villain than a victim. And it's just sad with me. I was like, you right, sis. You right.
So I see that in you. So you got this, theater. You got the business, like no nonsense. I will cut you up. Do not double cross me.
I think there's also like a scared person in there too. Like
the
Bruno
little girl
of it
from
all.
Monster Inc. maybe.
No, she's fearless.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I thought she was scared at some point.
No. She's scaring the monsters.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because they don't want to get touched.
I have like I'm so sorry.
Bruno.
So sorry. Is this okay? Did I do this right? Like there's a
that was such great acting that I thought someone walked in the room. I
Oh
thought you were
my
talking
God.
to someone who walked in the
I'm
room.
talking to the camera.
Oh, I was like, damn. You fooled me.
Because that person lives inside of me.
Yeah,
that afraid little
okay?
like, should I send this email? And Ben used to love like, I would send an email and you're like, it's too wordy. You would take my computer and like delete like 2 paragraphs.
Yeah,
You're like, now
be
send.
direct.
I was like, no, but I need to explain to them why
No, you
I
don't.
feel like I deserve more money for this thing. And Ben's like, I'm
No.
white. No, don't explain. Just send it. I'm
Just
like,
ask.
damn.
Just demand.
Demand.
Or even
I deserve this money.
It's
Just
funny
tell
because
them that.
yeah, I think like Amber forgets that you do have great influence, and Amber will have really good ideas for a date night for us or a fun outing. And I'm like, yo, this is a great idea. Just reach out to the company that you want to do this outing and ask them to sponsor you. And she's like, I don't feel comfortable
Not
doing
dates sponsored by.
Why not? It saves
That's-
us some money, and that money gets to go into Wild's education fund.
I know. You better call back to the top of the show, Ben.
Yeah, save some money. Yeah, I was
Save some
thinking
money.
about all the little Black girls that live in you. So I was thinking.
Who
about
else
that.
lives in there?
Uh,
Just give me one more.
I'm trying to
Before we
think.
wrap.
Like, yeah, maybe like you got like a Muhammad Ali energy, like some sort of boxer, like fitness person.
Oh.
You have like a
Like athletic or like a little arrogant, like
I think
I'm
there's
the
a
shit,
level
a little
of
ego.
arrogant, but also like athleticism, just like energy, like I'm the greatest.
yeah. I am.
Sometimes you do say that, like I know how to do this.
Yeah. I'm
You'll-
like, I'm
you'll s-
fucking brilliant.
I can do this.
I'm a genius.
But really, you're just trying to shut up the little timid girl who doesn't.
I am. Yeah, they're fighting.
Yeah.
If I had like the inside out control panels, like those would be my
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, the Inside Good. Yes, very similar. So I would say, yeah, Talk Black it has a lot of connection with Inside Out. I think there's a nice parallel there, which is a great movie, and
Yeah.
the execution of both those films are fantastic. Watch Talk Black, 100%.
100% audience score from us.
Yeah, cheers.
I'm trying to think about who you have in your head.
Probably like a nerdy.
That's just you.
suspenders.
That's just you. Who's in your head that you don't feel like you present every day?
Probably there's this like hardcore metalhead skateboarder, ripped jeans. I want to break
I
a
said
few
who
arms.
that you don't present every day.
I'm not that. You don't see me skateboarding, kicking down walls and beating people up, like getting drunk,
That's true.
throwing
But you
chairs.
feel like there's somebody violent in there.
No, just like a very bro-y kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
like
then
a mosh pit vibe.
Yeah, and then also I think there's a lady, a very petite lady.
Oh, she's
Just-
petite.
yeah,
she
petite.
ain't thick.
No, just petite as far as like thought process. Like I'm like oh excuse
Ooh.
me, like
It's a sick lady in there.
Yeah, I'm like I have the whooping cough or something.
Oh, a little Agatha Christie vibe.
Yeah, I'm just
a little Sylvia
timid.
Plath.
Like I'm like a little old lady
Inside.
with a cat.
Oh, I can totally see you
Petting a
being a
cat.
little old cat lady.
And I'm drinking port, and I just want to watch my soap.
You do give me like just bundle up and like you love that shit.
Sleep,
like in the
sleep
winter
10
time.
hours a day, bundle up, drink some tea with some whiskey
We know you
in
love
it,
to sleep.
and then read my mystery novels.
I think I got a man or two up here too.
Yeah.
I love that you
Muhammad
said that.
Ali, yeah.
Yeah, you just said that. Yeah. We're so weird.
Yeah.
I love being weird with you.
Yes. This was a great episode, everybody.
Are we trying to convince them at all? I had a good time with you. I mean, obviously, because we don't see people reacting in their cars or when they're doing their chores, but like...
I would love to actually see that.
Me too!
So if you send some
live
videos
tour.
of you... oh, yeah, you could do that. Live tour.
Live tour. It's coming. I don't know when.
2023
I'm still planning.
November, hopefully.
But also... Actually, somebody did send me a clip of them listening to the show today. I'll show it to you.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, they were like...
Please repost them.
I will. You ready to get out of here?
Yeah, I have to pee so bad.
Oh, it's probably the 3 goddamn Diet Cokes, Forrest Gump. Actually, let's just prolong the show.
I hate you.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Fly on the Wallin. We can't wait to see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
You know they're from TikTok, cause those laughs keep you coming, cause they're wildin' all the time. Before wild throws a tantrum, listen to our silly anthem.